Man, I miss y'all, man. Dang, I had to draw an elephant because I haven't seen you forever, man. Check this out, man. We got the all Snickers taste chocolatey going on. Got a little fun size Snicker. That's gonna be like my reward after I get done making a couple of these trig videos. All right. So I've learned how to do a bunch of this technology stuff the last 2 weeks, man. I've been working hard. We're gonna make a bunch of videos. We're gonna get you some little online quizzes and stuff like that to try to boost our grades a little bit there. I think it'll be pretty straightforward. But you guys do well when I explain to you how to do some problems. It's fresh in your head. You practice them. We'll have an opportunity to ask some questions through the Zoom stuff here. So let's just get right into it, man. Let me just review what I'm best at and just how to do these trig equations. All right. So these are going to be your one more, one less problem. And I want you to think quadrant and reference angle first, right? You see cosine is negative, cosine is negative, cosine is positive in 1 and 4. So that means cosine is negative in quadrants 2 and quadrants 3. So you're going to jot that down for yourself there. And then your reference angle where your cosine is right with 3 over 2, that's using the pi over 6 as your reference angle. So you jot that down for yourself. And then remember the quadrant 2 angle, you're gonna give me one number smaller. So this is just an x right here. You take whatever that angle is, we're gonna put x equals, quadrant 2, you're gonna do one number smaller on the top, so that's gonna be 5 pi over 6. And then since these directions say all solutions, you gotta squeeze in after that right away, plus 2 pi n, all right? That'll get you all the coterminal angles there. You spin around 360 as 2 pi range, you're gonna keep getting all the solutions after that. And then the quadrant 3 angle, you're going to go 7 pi over 6, the one number higher, and then you're going to squeeze in that 2 pi n. And if you just have an x right there, you're done. So you're doing exactly what we did in chapter 10. You're going to do your one more, one less stuff. Just if the directions say find all solutions, you're going to squeeze in that plus 2 pi n, and then you're done right there. All right. And then when you're doing these quizzes online, you'll just type, there'll be a box for like each solution. You'll type that in. Okay. So you can hit the little pencil next to the box and you just type in 5 pi, and I would put that in parentheses and then hit the divide by 6, and then just, there's no spaces or nothing like that. Just put plus and then 2, and then you'll do pi, and then just type in the n just like that. So just type it in there with no spaces. And then if you hit that little pencil and then type that in, what should pop up, I think in the box as you're typing that in, that below it'll be like 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. I think that like pops up or whatever, right? So I think you should be able to type those in, no issue right there. But just the directions say all solution, make a note for yourself to squeeze in that plus 2 pi n, because I don't want us messing that up right there. All right, and then we'll do that process a bunch here, okay? So I'm gonna say tangent is negative, tangent I know is negative, and tangent is positive in 1 and 3. So tangent is negative in quadrants 2 and 4. So I dot down my quadrants there. And then the reference angle where your tangent is at square root of 3 over 3, that's going to be a pi over 6 reference angle. So I'll write that down for myself. And then I'm going to get x equals, take whatever that angle is, you put that equals, and then quadrant 2 angle is one number smaller. So I'm going to go 5 pi over 6. But the directions say all solutions, so I'm going to go plus 2 pi n. And then the quadrant 4, you're going to double that, which is 12, and subtract 1, so you're going to get 11 pi over 6. And then squeeze in the plus 2 pi n. And then you're done on those ones when you just have the x by itself right there, because there's nothing else to do. I'm going to show you in a second what to do if there's a 2x or a 3x or a 7x. You'll start with that, and then you'll put like 7x equals that, 7x equals that, and then we'll divide by the 7, and we'll get that x by itself. Okay, so these examples are from the 13.2 and or the 13.3 worksheet. That's what I got going on right now. And then if you could work those out, and then I also, if you got questions over the reviews or something like that, we can do that during the Zoom meeting, or you might be okay there, okay? And then I'm just gonna do 4 more problems here. So if you know how to do all these, you wanna go to that extra video where I got the harder examples worked out, go right ahead. If you wanna fast forward to a particular problem, that's fine, go ahead and do that too. But let's just make sure we got the basic ones down, because you have to do those on the quiz that we'll have you do on Friday. And then also, anytime before Friday. And then you're gonna have to do a few where you got these like the weird angles right there, and then you got a couple of the harder ones. Now, so you're gonna do the same thing. If you got the weird angle, ignore that weird angle, all right? Just think, okay, where is my sign negative? We know what the sign is, positive 1 and 2. So the sign is negative in quadrants 3 and quadrants 4. And then your reference angle where your sign is that 1/2 right there, that's gonna be the pi over 6 reference angle. And here's the deal, if that's not an x, you're gonna have to go 3x equals something. Take whatever that angle is. Instead of putting x equals, you're going to take whatever that angle is. You're going to put 3x equals. And you still got to be careful with your signs and your quadrants. The quadrant 3, you do one number higher. So that'll be 7 pi over 6. And you got to squeeze in that plus 2 pi n right away. And then you're also going to take this 3x, set that equal to the quadrant 4 angle, which will be 11 pi over 6. And you got to squeeze that plus 2 pi n right away. So that's pretty much the same thing that we did on the last two, except I got a 3x equals and a 3x equals. And then you're going to solve this equation for x. So if you have 3x equals 12, you'll divide both sides by 3, you'll get x equals 4, right? Well, here, if I have 3x equals something, I'm going to divide everything by 3. So I'm going to divide this by 3. Now, when I divide a fraction by 3, that's the same thing as timesing it by 1/3. The 3 is on the bottom right there. And then I'm going to take this thing and divide it by 3 as well. So this will give me x equals, because those will cancel, and this will give me 7 pi over 18. And then now I have this plus 2 pi n divided by 3. So as you type that into the computer, you know, you can go like 7 pi, put that in parentheses, divided by 18, and then you can hit your plus button, and then you can put in parentheses plus the 2 pi n divided by 3, like that. So I don't think you have any issues plugging that into the calculator. Just make it look like that. That's going to be one of your answers for one of the boxes. And then the other one over here, you're doing the same thing. You're just going to divide everything by 3, and you divide a fraction by 3. That's the same thing as timesing it by 1/3. And that's also going to give us x equals, this is going to give us 11 pi over 18. And I got to also divide this guy by 3, so that'll be plus 2 pi n divided by 3, and that'll be your second answer right there. I'll do the same thing on this one. Got a weird angle. I'm first isolate the trig function, right? You got to get like sine equals something, cosine equals something. So I'm going to first divide both sides by the 2. That'll give us cosine of 4x equals square root of 2 over 2. And then be careful with your signs there. This is positive. So you're going to say, okay, cosine is positive in quadrants 1 and 4, according to our all students, or our all Snickers taste chocolatey. And then your reference angle where your cosine is square root of 2 over 2, that's going to be a pi over 4 reference angle. And then when you're doing the quiz, you're going to have this stuff in front of you. You'll have those double angle formulas in front of you and the harder ones. So, you know, you don't even have to have that stuff memorized there. Just kind of use your notes and use your chart and stuff like that, and just practice these, be perfect with them, and get those right, and hopefully boost our grades a little bit here. All right, so then you got to take whatever that weird angle is right there. You got to go 4x equals, and then the quadrant 1 angle is your reference angle. So you'll go pi over 4, but you got to squeeze in the plus 2 pi n right there. And then you're going to take that 4x equals, and then your quadrant 4 angle, you're going to double that, subtract 1. So it'll be 7 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. And then you just have to solve for the x. So we're going to divide everything by 4, just like we did this one. So if I divide everything by 4 here, when I divide a fraction by 4, that's the same thing as timesing it by a fourth. That'll give us pi over 16. And when I divide this by a 4, I am going to reduce the 2 over 4 to be like a 1/2 right there. So this will be 1 pi n divided by 2. 2 divided by 4 reduces to 1 divided by 2. So that's going to be one of our answers. And then do the same thing over here. Divide everything by 4. That's the same thing as timesing it by 1/4. So that's going to give us 7 pi over 16. And then 2 pi n divided by 4. That'll be another pi n divided by 2. So make sure you're perfect with the quadrant, with the reference angle. So I don't want any little mistakes on here. I don't want to like have a sign mistake and have the wrong quadrants or have the wrong reference angle. Be perfect with that chart there. We should be perfect with these. Just be very systematic with it. These two here, I wanted to do because it has the fractions in there, and sometimes that messes people up there. I'm pretty much going to do the very similar stuff to what I'm doing here. It's all the same stuff in my mind, but just with the solving stuff with the fractions messes some people up there. I also, this is from the 13.2 worksheet. This is almost the 13.3 worksheet. I wanted to purposely change it to fraction though, just so I can get to teach that one more time, all right? So first thing is ignore that weird angle. You're gonna look at the sign in the quadrant. So the sign is negative. We know sign is negative in quadrants 3 and 4. The reference angle where your sign is at square root of 3 over 2, that's gonna be a pi over 3 as your reference angle. And then, so you got to take whatever that weird angle is. You're going to go x over 2 equals, set it equal to the quadrant 3, which is one number higher on the top. So that'd be 4 pi over 3. and you gotta squeeze in that plus 2 pi n right away. You can't like do algebra first and then just squeeze it in there at the beginning because that changes, okay? And then you're gonna take the x over 2, set that equal to the quadrant 4 angle, so that's double that, subtract 1, so it's gonna be 5 pi over 3, and then you're gonna squeeze in that plus 2 pi n right away. All right, and then this is like, if I gave you x divided by 2 equals, let me go over here. If I give you x divided by 2 is equal to 4, you're going to divide both, I'm sorry, the opposite divided by 2, you're going to multiply both sides by 2. You're going to multiply this side by 2, so that cancels out. Then you're going to multiply this side by 2, and you get your x is equal to 8. That's what I'm doing here, except I need to multiply everything by 2. So those will cancel out, and I'll have my x equals. And now when I take, this is 2 over 1 times 4 over 3. So 2 times 4 pi would be 8 pi. And then 1 times 3, we're going to get 3 on the bottom, right? And then here, this is 2 over 1 times 2 over 1. So 2 times 2, those don't cancel out. It's just 2 times 2. That's just going to give us a 4. And then the pi n carries down. So that'll be one of our answers. And then do the same thing here. I need to multiply everything by 2. Those will cancel out, so I'll get x equals 2 times 5. That'll give me 10 pi over 3. And then I have 2 times 2. That'll give me the 4 pi n. Simple. And then last one, sign is negative in quadrants 3 and 4. The reference angle where your sign is at radical 3 over 2. Oh man, I didn't know they were that similar to each other. Well, we might as well finish this real quick, all right? So that it's gonna be another pi over 3 reference angle. And then you got this x over 4 right there, right? So you're gonna put x over 4 equals the quadrant 3 angle is gonna be 4 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. And then the quadrant 4 angle, you're gonna go x over 4 equals, you're gonna go 5 pi over 3 plus 2 pi n. And then multiply, since this is x divided by 4, you're going to times everything by 4. So those will cancel out. And then here, those 4s don't cancel out. That's like 4 over 1 times 4 power 3. So 4 times 4, this would give us 16 pi over 3. And then I have to remember to go 4 times 2. That'll give me 8 pi n. And then this one here, I'm going to times everything by 4. Those will cancel out. 4 times the 5, that'll give me 20 pi over 3. And then 4 times the 2 will be the 8 pi n right there. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a separate video explaining how to do the harder problems on the back sides of those worksheets with your double angle formulas and all that good stuff, all right? Pizza rolls